Right guys, hope everyone's doing well. So I'm off out for just a small adventure just up the Thrunton woods. Currently navigating my way through a lot of fallen trees and everything. Just a short walk today, stretch the legs out a bit. Apart from it being a little bit foggy and misty in places, I'm going to hopefully get the drone out. Definitely doesn't feel like there's a breath of air in the woods. So at some point when I can get, I know there's a clearing up here before I have done this walk in another video. I'll maybe try and leave a link in the description below. But when I was here the first time doing this route, I couldn't actually get the drone out, it was too windy to fly it. So even though the lighting conditions aren't favourable, I'm still looking forward to getting the drone out for a few flights. So hopefully at some point I'll be able to put that footage in somewhere. We're still currently trying to navigate trees like this. It does look like it's being well walked. There's a lot of pathways being cut through the trees, limbs being felled off. You can see a lot of foot traffic in certain places, so I'm just following those routes. I do know it opens up ahead of, like I said, a previous visit. I'm just hoping the route up to the crag itself is clear, just because you're actually walking in between the trees and they're quite close together. As you can see here, that someone's been through and cut back the branches. Since Storm Arwen passed, I do carry a small folding saw, just in case if I have to detour or anything or come through a lot of fallen trees. At least I can cut small branches off just to make a path through if needs be, if there's no safer alternative around. So it's just me and Mr. out today. I've left Milo and Maya in the house. Maybe do another walk with them tomorrow, see how I feel. Just me and the oldie out. Bit of drone footage, take it easy, a cup of coffee. Make the most of it while the weather's still. Try and get some more practice in with the drone. Hopefully get some decent footage, but just piles of trees everywhere. Just totally different since the last time I was here, when it was everything seemed to be standing. Well, it looks like I've hit a dead end already. I'll have a mooch around, see if I can get past this part. It looks pretty badly damaged, this section, so I think it's time to take the jacket off and make my way through somewhere. So I'll push on, I'll bring us back in a bit. Well, as much as I hate to say this, we're going to move on to plan B. I've got so far, the trail cutting seems to have ended, and you can see where there's been attempts to get through. There's just too many fallen trees in the way. Unless I drop my pack and then try and make my way through, crawling through trees and brambles and stuff, and it's not one of those kind of afternoons. I've got a couple hours of light, and I was hoping to make it to the crag for golden hour, which it says we should have partial cloud, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Looks like we might just be misted in, fogged in, but I'm hoping there's something to get on the drone. So I've looked at OS map and aerial views of the area, and it looks like I can skirt around the edge of a field. And I think there was a route I seen the last time, or potential route, the last time I was over here, where I can cut through next to some pylons which look fairly clear. So I'm going to try plan B, cut through the field and hit the pylons, cut along by the pylons, and hopefully that'll get us to the other road which should lead us to the crag. But if it's bad here, I don't know if I'll get through, and so we'll push on and hopefully get there today. So I'm currently skirting alongside the woodland where I have tried to cut through the path that runs through there, and there's some quad bike tracks through a field. So I'm currently following them towards the pylons to see if I can cut back through onto the trail. So fingers crossed we can. Hopefully by the time we get to the crag, if we make it to the crag, it's not spitting out the rain, it moves a little bit brighter, and I can get the drone out, have a couple of flights. But Mr.'s enjoying himself running through the grass, so it's not a total loss. At least I'm out and about, getting some fresh air and enjoying the outdoors. So I'll see you in a bit. So I'm still currently cutting through what looks to be an old fence line which is rotten and fallen away, probably been used as an old fire break at some point, and access to the woodland while they were replanting however many years ago. It's fairly marshy underfoot, a lot of heather, a lot of signs of a wildlife highway, signs of rabbit, deer, and there's a couple of large paw prints I keep coming across, but with it being soft moss, could be anything, there's no definitive foot itself. Could be a badger, possibly, just by how wide they look, but I'm no expert, so Mr.'s enjoying himself, hopefully doing his own thing. Nothing really around for him to bother. I'm just about underneath the pylons. We're getting through this marsh at the minute. That's sinky. So once I get underneath these pylons, I'll have a look to see if we're going to make it to the crag today. I have seen, after another trig point Nick and I done, I think it was Target Plantations out the back of Rothbury, I think you can see, or you would have been used to be able to see, Thrunton Woods, Long Crag, trig point. So if I can't get the crag this way to the woods, that's maybe another option to walk in from Rothbury, but we'll see how we'll get on today. It's an adventure for another time, I think, when I've got a day to explore on in a few hours. But this will be interesting coming back in the dark. So I'll push on and see if I can get to this trail. But I think, if I remember correctly, just where this bracken is here and that road dead trees, the road's just there, so I'm going to make way through this marsh now and see if I can get to that trail. Well, that was a lot harder than I thought. Very, very boggy and marshy underneath the pylons there for a section. So literally I'm 6'1", and I don't know if you can see that, but this is where I've sunk to the bog in places. So I'm absolutely shattered, soaking wet. Mr.'s knackered, bless him. Only about halfway there to the crag, I think. Hopefully the rest of the woodland's easier to get through, and that's the only route that we have came, the only route I know which is accessible to an extent on the way back. Probably in the dark, so I've got my head torch and everything. Just going to try and stick to walking across the top of the heather on the way back, I think. We'll push on, follow this track road for a bit, hopefully no more nasty surprises. I'll maybe get to the trig point in the next half an hour or so, get the kettle on, drone out, have an easy afternoon, then wade back to the car in the dark. So just followed the track there where it cuts up into the woods I walked the last time, which should bring straight on top of the moors to Coe Crag and across the Long Crag. However, I'm getting 100 yards in. The odd tree you can navigate round, but it looks like there's other clusters which are falling down as well. So, plan C, so I don't like to give up too easy, and hopefully I can get to the trig point before it gets dark. We want to skirt along the side of this bit of woodland. Along here, there's the odd tree that's leaning, but it's leaning away from the trail, so I'm happy enough to walk along the edge. So, I'm going to push along the side of here and see if we can get to the trig. Hopefully we don't encounter any more problems, but I don't think, cross my fingers, it's going to help us on this trip out. But we'll see what we're up against. We'll push on for a bit. I'm not going to be defeated yet. But to top this trip off so far, I've managed to split another pair of boots, and I've only done 50 miles in them, and they've split, and they've already been replaced once after 130 miles to split. So I'll not be getting them ones again. And my tripod is now a bipod. Even that's had enough on this trip, and one of the legs is done off. So that's in the bag. Well, it's been a little bit of a battle to get here, but as always, it's always worth it. Time to get the drone out, I think. There's a little ledge up here which I like. I've been here in the past. I'm going to sit my bag down, have a drink and a snack, get the drone out for a bit, and hopefully, if it works well, you'll see some footage. So we're just going to push off top of Long Crag now, head back to the car. I was wanting to find a different route back, but it looks like the routes are just going to take us further away from the car. I don't really want to be trying to find a route in the dark, especially when I've got the dog. As much as I don't really want to go back through the marsh, it looks like that's the way I'm going to go. I know it's going to take us directly back to the car, and hopefully get through the marsh before I lose too much light. Got the head torch out ready and everything, so I don't have to stop. I was going to stop for a cup of coffee and that, but I'm soaking wet. Left my sandwich in the house, body blow, so I've had a couple of snacks. Always carry snacks. I'm just going to push on back to the car. So hopefully you've enjoyed it and the drone footage has come out alright. Thank you very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one.